One of my Patreons is a trans man, and they asked me to talk about this issue. There's this subreddit called FTM Venting, which is basically about women that transition to become men, and they are expressing their dismay on how the world is treating them now that they are men, because they have a deeper level of insight than most people, I suppose, having lived part of their life as a woman and then presenting themselves as a man. They noticed certain changes. Some of them they didn't expect before transitioning, and they're using this subreddit in order to vocalize them. And again, there's a reason why there is the chant, trans women are women, but there isn't the chant, trans men are men. I mean, I'm sure like on some corners of the internet you may hear about it, but it's pretty rare, isn't it? So here you have the first post, and it says that the bear versus man thing is damaging my mental health. The bear versus man thing, if you're not aware, was a very popular trend on TikTok, which was reported by the mainstream media, where people were asked, would you rather be alone in the woods with a bear, or would you rather be alone in the woods with a man? And overwhelmingly, at least the way the mainstream media presented it, is that most women would say that they would rather be alone with a bear. So this trans person is saying, I hate how I went from being treated well and valued when I was passing as a woman, but now I am being treated as a threat to the point that people would rather choose a wild animal than a human being. It's actually crazy to me that there is no respect and they talk about men like they're not people. And the reality is, because I was reading this, and I was genuinely, like stopping to think for a little bit. It is expected as a man. Like you live all your life like this, so you don't even question it. It's something that it's kind of normalized, I suppose. That, yeah, like you expect that 80% of the people you meet will not value you as a human being. You're just like a faceless individual. You're just like another person from the crowd. And it is up to you to connect with that person and prove to them that you have the worth, and then they will give you the respect. At least that is the way that I viewed things at a subconscious level. And this is the same way that this person is describing it. But again, like you get used to it, you live to it. Like it's normal. You don't really question if things should be this way. You don't even try to fight the way things are. It's just they are how they are, and you adapt yourself to the situation. Here you have another interesting post, which says the following. This is the reality shock that most people don't realize. When presenting as a man, walking anywhere alone, even if you look safe, clean cut, kind, and happy, when you enter a woman's field of vision for the first time, they will visibly flinch and tighten up. This happens again and again every single day for your adult life. The subtle body language eats away at your psyche. What did I do wrong? How could I stop scaring people without doing anything wrong? Am I dangerous? Am I a monster? There are countless more scenarios like this in every man's adult life that all send the same message. You are a danger to society. You scare people. People are scared and uncomfortable whenever you show arousal, weakness, sadness, vulnerability, or any other negative emotion. After presenting as an adult man for many years, it's impossible not to have bouts of very negative feelings from these innocent daily encounters without ever actually doing anything wrong, despite any best intentions you may have. This is just an unfortunate and inescapable reality of life as an adult man. Yeah, it's exactly that. It is an inescapable reality, and there's nothing you can do about it. But at the same time, I also do not blame the people who react this way, because a person's safety is more important than my good feelings, I suppose. Right? So like if it's late at night and I'm walking on the street and I see a woman that's coming my way, and she, without knowing who I am, without me doing anything aggressive, she just chooses to cross the street and walk on the other side, I don't mind. It's like something that I don't even think about it. Like you just don't put your mind to think about these things. It's just the way things are. And the reality is that if I was a woman, I would probably react the same way. Like if I'm on a street and I see five men that I don't know coming my way, and they look, maybe from their mannerisms or their behavior, they look a little bit off, then yeah, I also clench. So even men clench at other men. Like it's just part of the way things are. Maybe they're not the way they should be. They're not the way they're supposed to be. But they are as they are. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you shouldn't dwell on it. You shouldn't think about it too much. And it's also the thing, like if you're a man and you happen to be in the proximity of a child, right? Like I remember that I used to play Pokemon Go when it was popular. Like the first couple of weeks, it was all the rave. Everyone was playing Pokemon Go. And I was in the park in a place where you could get some water Pokemons, and this kid comes up to me with his phone, and it's like asking me to duel. And I'm like, no. I'm not going to perform that because I'm a grown man. You're a child, right? Even if we happen at this point to share the same hobby, no. Get the fuck away from me. And the reality is, if I was a woman, and I would have accepted, right? Like you're a woman, and this kid comes up to you. It's like, hey, lady, are you playing Pokemon Go on your phone? Like, yeah, can I play with you? If that interaction happens, no one bats an eyelid. But if you're a man, every single time, people are going to look weird if it's not your child. And I don't blame them, because the reality is, I'm going to have a child. If I see another man playing Pokemon Go with my kid, I would freak out, right? So, like, how should I blame others for doing the exact same thing that I would do? There's also this interesting one. Sorry, dude, trends like this come and go all the time. They're talking about the man and the bear in the woods. This hashtag, which was very popular on Twitter, was a trend a little while back. More like it will pop up in the future. If it's damaging to your mental health, it's best to just stay off Twitter or mute associated words for a while. If you try to argue that it affects men's mental health, you'll just be associated with those that are incels. This is absolutely true. There was a time when that hashtag was trending on Twitter. It was not suppressed or anything like it. And the onus is for the man to protect themselves. Basically, don't read it. Get off Twitter, right? But when it's something that makes women feel uncomfortable, it's like, oh, we need trust and safety councils. We need the HR lady. We need censorship. We need the government to pass a legislation. It's just the way things are. Like, you just gotta internalize it. You gotta adapt. There's nothing you can do about it. You have this person saying exactly, and it doesn't hurt the violent man. Like this person brings in the wisdom, right? Like Charming Gift 7698 brings the absolute wisdom to the conversation. This type of behavior doesn't hurt the violent men. They literally don't care. Like, this is absolutely true. If you go into an impoverished neighborhood, or you talk to, I don't know, a drug dealer or a gangster, or, you know, someone that's associated with the low levels of society, violence and crime, they literally do not care. They do not care about the trust and safety lady. They do not care about having a Twitter account. They do not care about maintaining prestige. The only people that care are the men who are already self-conscientious about how they appear to women and change themselves for the comfort of women. This is especially going to affect, apparently, according to this person, black men, autistic men, and trans people who are already demonized. I don't necessarily agree with this last take, that some men are affected more than others. I do agree that, yeah, like, if you're a person that genuinely tries to improve and be better, and you're constantly blamed for the actions of others, and you can't do anything in order to change the behavior of others, then yeah, I mean, that can definitely lead to a lot of mental strain and a lot of depression and a lot of negative feelings. Meanwhile, if you're a person that legitimately doesn't care, it's like, oh, well, what's on the news today? Who would you rather be alone in the woods? A man or a bear? Women choose the bear. Dumbass, you know, and they just throw the newspaper away, and they don't think about it. Like, yeah, they're not going to be affected by that. But if you're a person that's like, oh, so women would choose the bear, so every woman that chooses that would look at me and they would think that I'm worse than a wild animal. That's harsh. Like, what can I do to change that? And they can try. They can try to do anything to change that, but society isn't going to change, and they're still going to select the bear over that person. So all you're doing is you're adding more mental strain to yourself. Regardless, I found this conversation to be very interesting. The solution is exactly what was presented here. It's like, it's up to you. Like, if you're a man, you need to be a little bit more stoic. I would actually suggest that if you have problem and you're struggling with this, you read some Greek philosophy, especially from the Stoic school of thought, and you can actually learn how to cope with this. Because there's no other way. There is no movement. There is no chance in the future where society will think it differently. And honestly, I don't even think if it's beneficial. I genuinely don't think like it would create a better society if men would be coddled, and we reshape society in order to cater to the fifis of men. I don't necessarily think that would be a necessarily a more prosperous society than what we already have. But let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.